What's up guys, and welcome back to my channel, Pitol in Motion, a place for busy people and dream chasers looking to achieve their goals in a more efficient way. So if you're new here, hello, welcome. My name is Ira and I do project management, self-improvement and the occasional lifestyle videos. So be sure to hit that subscribe button if that sounds interesting to you. And if you're coming back for another one of my videos, my lovely subscribers, hello, welcome. Let's get straight into this one. All right guys, so in this video, I'm gonna be answering a question that I get quite a lot. So it's been a long time coming. I'm sorry, you know, I'm getting to the requests, but it's finally here. And that is basically the difference between a project coordinator, a project manager, and a senior project manager. I've actually had quite a few comments asking for some of these, like compare and contrast between different roles in the project management space. Obviously, there's still like program managers, program analysts, project analysts, PMO roles, all of that malarkey on all of those roles that all have different kind of functions within project management. If you're kind of interested in that kind of content, give me a thumbs up, let me know in the comments below, and I'll definitely get more of these kind of videos out. But today though, we are, like I said, going to go into the difference between a project coordinator, project manager, and also senior project manager. So I thought it would be appropriate to start with this because really, in terms of a progression path for project manager, that's generally how it goes. You would tend to start with an entry-level kind of role like a project coordinator, and be promoted to a project manager and then senior project manager or a similar kind of role like that. So I thought it would be a good way to start. I do want to start by saying that all of these roles, you heard me say it, I'm gonna say it one more time. All of these roles contribute to the success of a project. So I do always tell people that want to get into project management, you know, do look at project management, entry-level kind of roles as well, or support roles like a project coordinator, and I'm about to get into that, because you do get experience of working on a project and you contribute to the success of that project. All of these roles do this, but in terms of certain aspects of it, it is gonna be a little bit different. So that's what I'm gonna get into this video. Let's get it popping. So I'm gonna structure this video by comparing the different roles against different categories. And the different categories that I'm gonna go through are a general overview, roles and responsibilities, prerequisites for the role, skills required for the role, salary, who's it ideal for, pros for staying at that level and being in that role, and then lastly, what it will take to move on to the next stage. So make sure you stick with me right to the end of this video. So first of all, as a headliner, a summary of what each of the roles are basically and how they differ. So I'm going to start with a project coordinator, move over to a project manager, and then a senior PM. So as an overall summary, first of all, a project coordinator is generally in charge or responsible for certain aspects of a project. For example, in a project, you have lots and lots of deliverables, and maybe the project coordinator owns one of those deliverables or a package of work. Or it could be maybe, you know, managing the RAID or managing the project plan, something like that. However, a PM is responsible, or shall I say accountable, I think that's the key word, accountable for the success of the whole entire project. Unlike a project coordinator who only deals with like perhaps a section of a project at a time, the project manager is dealing with the whole entire project. They are on the lifeline. If that project should die, oh my days, it's you the reason why it's dead. A senior project manager does exactly the same as a project manager. So they are accountable for the success of that project. The difference between a PM and a senior PM is that a senior PM will also bring some kind of specialized knowledge or expertise to the role. So they can really focus in on the project and be able to give it a more, I would say, delicate touch because they know more. It tends to be more technical knowledge or just have more experience delivering those type of projects so they can deal with more complex projects. All right, so let's talk about R&Rs, roles and responsibilities. A project coordinator will oversee the day-to-day operations that need to keep the project rolling. So, for example, they might be looking after tracking the project plan. They might be looking after setting up meetings, chasing actions, those kind of requirements there. It is very heavy on admin a lot of the time, but a good thing about that is that they get real life day-to-day experience on what it takes to make a project move. If there's no one chasing those actions, no one tracking the plan, seeing, you know, are we actually delivering today what we said we're gonna deliver? It's gonna be very difficult for things to move. A project manager, on the other hand, is responsible for a project's goals, deadlines, and also its budgets. And as a result, an additional role to, you know, tracking the deliverables and setting up meetings sometimes, etc., would be to own a lot of these things. So you'll find a project manager leading the meetings, not just setting them up, but leading them on a day-to-day basis. You'll also find them creating and making the RAID, the project plan, the budget, because they're gonna own that document right at the beginning. When a project is initiated, they need to understand the scope. They also need to turn it into deliverables and make a structured plan to get it out of the door. That is owned by the project manager, not usually by the project coordinator. Once all of those functions are set up, the project coordinator will then come in to see on a day-to-day basis, how can we keep this moving. A project manager will also be responsible for doing the presentations, demos if that's required in the role, and also usually doing the main reporting and also networking and getting to know the main stakeholders. Now, don't get me wrong, the project coordinator will also have aspects that they're doing, but in terms of the ownership of it, it generally lies with the project manager. Another very key distinction between a project manager and a project coordinator is the project manager's the one that be making the calls, the critical decision making. It is the authority of the project manager, not the project coordinator. And that could be good in a way. It takes a lot of the pressure off the project coordinator, but those priority calls, when it comes down to it, you know, it's the PM that's gonna say, this is where we go, this is how we prioritize our time, this is what we're gonna do to move forward. A senior project manager then does everything that I've just described that a PM does, but because they have the extra knowledge and because they have that extra expertise, they're able to take on more complex projects. So higher risk projects, higher budgets, longer timelines, things that require more stakeholders and more dependencies that are interlinked with cross-functional departments. Those are the big, nice, juicy projects that a senior project manager will take on because of their expertise. So they will still be responsible for the end-to-end progress and also the success of that project, but it's most likely that they would have taken on a project that is a lot more high value and a lot more bigger scale. Prerequisites. Right, I get this question quite a lot, you know, to be a PM, do I need this? Do I need this? What do I need? So let's talk about that right now. First of all, for project coordinator, and this is just generally what I believe. Someone might tell you something else on the job ad, it might say something else. However, I believe to get a project coordinator role in some industries, you don't need nada. Obviously, you need to be educated, you need to be competent, but in terms of qualifications and a degree, I'm so sorry, I've seen too many and I've helped too many people get project coordinator roles that haven't got a degree and also don't have any other PM qualifications that I'm no longer, I just wouldn't say that it is a must have. Nice to have, like everything in this life, you know, it is nice to have these extra perks, but it is not a must have. One thing that you must demonstrate though is some good core skills. So let me talk about that a little bit. One thing that a project coordinator definitely needs to demonstrate is a good administrative ability, because they'll be looking after a lot of things and tracking a lot of deliverables for the PM. It is really, really key that they have good attention to detail. They're able to file things really neatly, document things really, really neatly. They're able to chase up things with other people and also articulate it well on paper and in a spoken manner as well. So those skills skills right there are absolutely critical. If you don't have that as a bare minimum as a project coordinator, you are going to struggle. And as a bonus, if I was to have a project coordinator under me that's working with me, I want that project coordinator to have a bit of initiative, because I cannot be telling you every five minutes what to do. I just need you to do, you know? So that's also a bonus. Project manager then, I also believe it's very, very similar. I don't believe you need a degree to be a project manager. However, it is preferable. It is easier to get a job when you have a degree. And I think that's across most industries. So whether you need it 100%, I know people that ain't got no degree that are PM, so I'm not gonna say you must. It's not like, you know, medicine, that if you want to be a doctor, you better have gone to medical school. It doesn't work like that. I didn't even study project management at university, and I'm a PM today. So it's not absolutely necessary. However, it is preferable. Same with PM certs. It's not necessary to do a PM cert in order to become a project manager. You can get in with no experience, and do check out my video on that because I do break that down. However, you must be able to demonstrate some of these core skills that I've just gone through in a project coordinator role. Like, you're not going to come with nothing. On top of the administrative skills and also the communication skills, you should also be able to show a high level of critical thinking. That one is key. If you're going to be making some big boy calls, you know, some priority calls, some decision making, and you don't know how to critically think, you're going to struggle. And I personally wouldn't want you managing a project around me. A senior PM then, I think the main distinction between a PM and a senior PM, of course, you got the communication, you got the critical thinking, you got the ability to build teams and leads and all of that. But to really move up to the next stage, it is really key that you have also some technical knowledge. Now, when I say technical knowledge, everyone just thinks automatically, oh my day, you must know JavaScript inside out, you must know how to code and all that. Listen. Anybody doing all of that? Don't get me wrong. Technical PMs, they get paid the extra coin because they can combine these skills together. And to move to a senior PM level, you need to have a level of technical skills and being able to understand the intricacies of that project. And it's because you're getting into the nitty-gritty, you're getting into those high profile, more critical, higher risk, you know, more in-depth projects. You need to be able to understand the infrastructure of that project really, really well. So I think that's the difference in terms of the skill sets required across the board of all of these PM roles. Let's talk just monies, guys, because I know y'all are interested. I have had a lot of requests for a video on this, but if I'm honest, I'm not too sure, but I'm just gonna give what I generally think. So a project coordinator in the UK, I don't know what it's like in other places of the world, but in the UK, you can expect to earn anywhere between 18k and 40k. Looking on Reed, Indeed, LinkedIn, etc., that's the kind of range you can expect to earn in the UK just starting up. Obviously, this will depend on the industry, the sector that you're joining, the company that you're joining, you know, and the type of projects that you're going to be managing. If your company that you're joining are broke, guess what? You ain't gonna get too much monies. But you know, if you're working for a more high profile company, then you can definitely get a lot more, up to that 40, and sometimes even beyond that as a project coordinator. A project manager in the UK, I would say, can expect to earn around 35 to, I would say, 65k for permanent role. As you progress and you go up, obviously the money will increase, and you might do it exponentially. And I know a lot of PMs that earn in a permanent role a lot more than that, but I'm just giving a rough average range. I would say it can fall either side of that. What a lot of PMs do also nowadays is to contract, and that is where a lot of the big money's at, because that's a per day rate. You can expect to earn around, I would say, 200 to 500 pounds a day as a PM that contracts. So I mean, you can pro rata that it's your monies basically. As a senior PM in a perm role, then I think you're looking upwards of 75k personally. If you're in a senior PM role and you're not earning 75k, you need to go tell them you working too hard. You working too hard not to be earning more than that as a senior PM in the tech space. Once again, obviously different companies have different budgets. Don't hold me to it if you see a senior PM role for like 50k or whatever. I don't know. I'm just saying that if it were me, I'll be looking more in that kind of range for a senior PM role. And once again, of course, there are contracting opportunities where you can earn upwards of £500 a day as well for senior PM role. So also those opportunities are always there. So who are these roles most ideal for? A project coordinator role is a perfect role for someone that just wants to get their leg in project management. They don't have that much experience, but they do have a basic understanding of project management. This is a great role for you to start with. A PM role, however, is better for someone that is ready to take ownership of a project. They've built a little bit more confidence. They believe that they have the skills and they're confident that they have the skills in order to do the roles and responsibilities that I kind of explained earlier on in the video. A senior PM then is really for someone that is ready for the next stage. You know, they've tried, they've been proven, they can deliver, and now it's time for me to just, you know, delve in, either to specialize in a particular area or also just work on more projects, on bigger scale projects. You're no longer, you know, swimming with the small fishes, you're swimming with the big fishes. Alive, of course. You know how it goes. Now, as I round up, all I can say is all of these roles have their time and place. So whatever position you're in right now, whether you are just getting your foot into the door and you want to go for a project coordinator role, or you're just getting your foot in the door and you want to go for a PM role, that's absolutely fine. But you need to understand that there are pros of every single kind of role, and you know, moving to the next step or just jumping straight to a PM role or jumping straight to a senior PM role, it might not be the best move for you, and this is the reason why. The main pro I see of starting in a project coordinator role, especially if you don't have a lot of experience, is that the heat is not on your ass. Listen, I'm gonna tell you something now. When your project is bubbling, you know, like, you know, the cauldron, that is that what you call it? You know, when the witches are mixing the potion, it's just bubbling. Yeah. When your project is bubbling and your ass is hot, everything just hot. Like your wig is sweating out, everything's just hot. Believe me, you wish you're the project coordinator on the role, because that person is not getting the heat. All the heat is coming to the project manager. Ultimately, the project manager owns the success of that project, so the heat is going on to them. And if you're a good project manager and you've got a project coordinator working under you, you always protect them. You know, we know that, you know, they're in the development path, they want to move up. If they've messed up, you'll protect them. At least I would anyway. So it does give that project coordinator a really nice, safe environment to learn, make mistakes, and then when they're confident, they can move to the next stage. So don't be too hasty to just move straight to project management sometimes. It's a really good opportunity for you to build your confidence. Staying in a project management role instead of moving to a senior PM role is also really, really amazing as well, because in a project management role, you generally get a different variety of projects. By the time you're moving to a senior PM role, you're now looking at more specialization and, you know, this is where my niche is, this is what I'm good at. I've built expertise in this area, hence why they're giving me bigger projects in this area. You might not get as much variety as you used to do. If you're a PM that doesn't really know, okay, do I actually really like this, or do I want to dabble a little bit? I would say stay in the PM kind of level for now until you figure it out. Once you know, actually this is what I want to do, then you can go specializing. Then you can, you know, invest in more technical understanding of certain things and not feeling like you're gonna do that and then you want to dabble back, because moving and keeping the same salary once you get to a certain level is difficult if you don't have enough technical expertise in that area. I hope I'm communicating that right. I hope I am. All right, so lastly then guys, what can you do if you want to move on up? If you want to move on up, you're a project coordinator, you want to be promoted to a project manager, or you're a project manager, you want to be promoted to a senior PM, what can you do? I'm going to break that down right now. First of all, if you're a project coordinator and you want to be promoted to a PM, the really key thing for you to do is to deliver. I can't say it more. Deliver, deliver, deliver. Ask for more responsibility. Take on bigger work packages. Challenge yourself more. Ask your PM and have that conversation with your manager to say, yo, you know, I've proven myself in this aspect. I want to do more. I want more exposure. Give me more responsibility. It's by proving that you can take things from A to B, then they'll know that, okay, this person can actually handle this on their own. They don't need that micromanagement. They do not need supervision. Let's give them a try. Also, it won't hurt while you're in that role to get some PM certs, just because I know it's not necessary to be a PM, but it doesn't hurt. I'm gonna say that right now. It doesn't hurt. As a PM then, to move up to the senior PM level, it's all about your technical expertise. It's all about your experience. It's all about delivering. At that level, they do not necessarily care as much, and I say this with a pinch of salt. No, I say it with lots of salt. They don't care as much about your certs at that level. I'm so sorry. They care about what you can do, what you've proven to do, and what you can do for me. Because if I have this high profile project, am I gonna take the person that's passed 5 certs with no experience over the person with 10 years experience delivering and solving issues over the person with the certs? Of course not. It's really important that you deliver as much as you can in your role, but not only that, you now get into the detail. You look at, you know, more critical thinking. You look at problem solving. That is how you gonna get this bag. Can you solve problems? Bingo. That is the way to move up in this project management game, so make sure you work on that. All right guys, so that's it for this week's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give me a big thumbs up, and if you do like this content, also put a nice comment down below. Plenty more content to come as always, and these compare contrasts, if you like them, let me know. I'll make sure I bring more of them out. Wherever you are in your PM journey, I hope you're having fun. I'll see you in my next one guys. Make sure you take care.